Hi wagtails and kingfishers. Well, this is to help you with doing your timeline, okay? So we're not going to do all of the space timeline, we're just going to do the things that we've been doing this week and what we're going to be doing towards the end of the week, okay? So our space race starts in 1914. Can you see we've got a big line across and this one goes to 1950. Shall we start putting some things on our timeline then? So our first one is in 1942. The first rocket called the V2 was launched. It was designed by a German engineer called Wernher von Braun. And then in 1947, so can you see we've moved it on? So we've got 1945. This number's bigger, isn't it? So it's going to be more in the middle of our timeline. And this is when the first animals were sent into space to see how they would react. And can you remember, it was a fruit fly, isn't it, who went into space, and he went on some corn for his food. And then we've got 1949 here, so it's not quite at the end of the timeline, but nearly. The first monkey is sent to space. His name was Albert II and was a rhesus monkey. He flew 83 miles away from Earth. Now, we're going to move on our timeline. So we've gone from 1950, which was on the other screen, to 1960, that's on the end of this screen. So shall we add some dates onto our timeline here? So it all happened in 1957. Laika, the Russian space dog, became the first animal to orbit the Earth. Her name means barker in Russian. You remember we did the story of Laika the astronaut. And another one in 1957, on the 4th of October, Russia launched Sputnik, the first satellite into space. Sputnik means satellite in Russian. From this day on, the space age had begun. So this is the date that's really important, 1957. And then we've got another date here, 1959. And again, it's right near the end of our timeline, so we're going to pop it right near the end. Russia and American scientists were in competition to send a spacecraft to the moon. Russia succeeded first. A space probe called Luna 2 was sent, and it travelled at such an immense speed that it would have killed a person if it'd been inside it. It's a good job they weren't inside it then. So we've got 1960 to 1970. Now we're not going to go much further. We're going to do a little bit of this timeline, and then we're going to do the rest next week. So 1961, Yuri Gagarin became the first man in space. And then Valentina Tereshkova was the first woman in space. And a crater on the far side of the moon is named after her. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Did you see that? Shall I show you very quickly? We're going to do that one next week. That's a really, really important one. But I hope you've enjoyed the timeline. We're going to ask you over the next few days to start to think about creating your own timeline. So you can watch this clip as many times as you like to get all the details. But I hope you enjoy making your own space race timeline. Bye, space astronauts.